Shall we begin?
Let's begin.
Good day, peace and blessings to all, and welcome to the Mentality 360 podcast. I'm Michael Tolan, and this is
Kevin Lewis.
All right, we're back at it, 2019. We're excited. New episodes, new year. Got a fun-filled, packed year prepared for y'all. So, Mentality Podcast, Mentality 360 Podcast, we're back at it. Today's topic, we're going to talk about domestic abuse and domestic violence. But first and foremost, we would like to touch on this week's hot topics and recent events.
This week's hot topic, well, the government is still currently shut down. What are we going on, like 3 weeks now, Mike?
I believe so.
Okay, because I just saw the other day that this is the first week that a lot of people aren't getting paid, but they still have to work. And I'm like, man, like I saw a thing today with Cortez. He gave a speech in the House today or yesterday about our traffic controllers having such a stressful job.
Right.
And so like now they have to go into that job, that stressful situation, knowing, well, I just missed my mortgage payment, or I just missed that. So I just
right.
missed that,
That's more stress.
Right.
Yeah.
She says so. Just basically just talking about how this government shutdown is just like extremely stressful for the people that he's supposed to be protecting.
Yeah.
So
right.
So
I mean, this is crazy. I just think he's acting very childish.
Yeah.
Especially for his demand. I think they're willing to give him a certain amount of money to beef up border security and all that, but I guess he said he wanted what he wanted.
Man,
So-
the crazy thing to me, Mike, is this right here. How can you be asking for $6 billion, but yet to build a border to the wall around the border, but yet you go to Flint, Michigan, and they drinking yellow water.
That's true.
Yellow piss water. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I'm like, what? Like to me, the priorities just don't add up. I'm like, man, we got people in the States who can't even have clean water.
Yeah, like I said before, I think Trump has some type of interest in getting all this money. I think he may have ties into some type of contract company that he's going to award the contract to and make a whole bunch of money off under the table, right?
Oh, I never thought about that.
Right. That's all it could be. I mean, really.
Well, actually, I was thinking more or less that this was the platform he stood on when he was running for election. With the wall is going to be a big wall, great wall, blah, blah, blah wall, and Mexico's going to pay for it. Well, one, we already see Mexico ain't paying for it. And then two, it's like, well, I got to do something that I said I was going to do.
Right.
Because everything else kind of fell by wayside. So
Yeah. I don't know if he really even cares that he does.
He don't, man.
does-
Man, dude, you just serve McDonald's. Come on, dude. You don't care about that.
Yeah,
I
that's
look at
true.
You know what I'm saying? But enough of that. So that's another hot topic. Well, this might just lead right into what we're talking today. So we're hitting with two since we're
hitting with two.
But R. Kelly.
Oh, yeah.
Dude.
Ties right into our
Yes.
topic.
Dude, now I just heard just yesterday that Sony just recently dropped him from their RCA record label, record company, whatever. So they was like, well, it's kind of hard for people who making money off of you to want to leave you alone.
Yeah.
But they decided to let him go.
Yeah, I think he's in a bad position right now because I really don't think he's making too much money. I think his net worth is about $1 million or something like that,
Really?
which is,
Oh, no, not when you done sold 30-something million.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like,
He got one on Tony Braxton contracts, huh?
right.
We're going to give you 2 cents for every album you sell,
Yeah.
Wow.
I would think he has the masters for a lot of his stuff, but I don't know if he's smart enough.
Man,
to
actually,
do that.
Mike, it's no joke. The record company own all that stuff. So,
Yeah,
so if
but
you-
it's in your contract,
Yeah,
yeah.
if your contract ain't set up like that, you're not getting that.
Yeah, that's true.
Because that's where they make their money.
Absolutely.
They're talking Michael Jackson.
And then they canceling all his shows, so he can't make road money, concert money.
But I will say this though. I mean, it should be a nice night for him tonight now because it's supposed to be in the teens tonight. I know he likes the teens, so I've been area all day, people, all day. So that's pretty much gonna wrap up our hot topics.
And welcome back to the Mentality 360 podcast. Again, today's topic is domestic abuse and physical abuse. We'll talk about those topics today. As Kevin mentioned in the hot topics, the whole R. Kelly case is really buzzing right now. And actually not the case, but the docuseries that Lifetime did on him. You know, it brought about a lot of things that I think a lot of people didn't know. Alleged things, we'll say. And so, again, it kind of ties into our topic today about domestic abuse. I think the actual month that they highlight for domestic abuse is October, but
I know
they kind of pack a lot of things into October, breast cancer and
okay,
all types of stuff into that month. But it's relevant right now, so we'll touch on it. I know, and just kind of staying on the R. Kelly topic. Did you see the docuseries, Kevin?
Well, I watched probably the first 3. How many is it? 7 or 8?
Oh man, I don't even know. We were just sitting there watching them back to back.
So y'all Netflix and chilling, huh?
Yeah, we were Lifetime and chilling. Yeah,
okay.
On that day.
No, actually, but because I'm thinking that I watched the first 3, and actually by then, I mean, like I don't understand how you can continue to watch it and not already come up with your conclusion or your assumption of his innocence or his guilt.
Right.
Because he looks, I'm like, dude, like these people are 12, 13 years old. Like, what more do you have to say about that? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So, yeah.
And although I think with a lot of these girls, there was definitely a lot of mental abuse, as well. We're going to focus on the physical piece. I think with teenagers, with people that age, it's pretty easy to influence them, especially if you get a celebrity.
Right,
you put a celebrity in their face. Not even teenagers. You can get some grown folks.
Yes.
And you put a celebrity in their face, and they go crazy. They just lose all
as my wife would say,
morals and.
As my wife said, Mike, you're a grown ass woman. You know
right,
what I'm saying?
right,
and
exactly.
You behaving like that. Really, come on there.
Throwing your panties on stage.
Dude, come on there. But then you go home and think your daughter's supposed to act differently.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So,
exactly.
Yeah.
But a lot of this, I look at a couple things. Of course, these are very young women. But I'm like, where were the parents? And I'm like,
to me, Mike, that's one of the hardest things because from a male's perspective, you don't want to downplay or devalue anything anyone has said or feel like they've gone through.
Right.
But from me, from a male perspective, I'm thinking if my son was going to a church where a guy was known to be, maybe he wasn't convicted, but he was just rumor was out there,
right,
that he was whatever. You best believe my son or daughter would not spend any time alone with that guy.
Absolutely
You know
not.
what I'm saying? So I'm like, dude, so I don't care who you are. The safety of my kid, to me, is worth far more than who you are as a person.
Yeah.
Because all it takes is one time for you to say, he was this, or he was that, or he did. You know what I'm saying? Because,
right.
dude, you got a video of this man, you're dating a 13-year-old girl mouth. I'm thinking, dude,
Absolutely.
as a father, he dead.
Right, I'm surprised nobody's touched him at this point.
I'm thinking, man, how much money this dude got?
Right. And that's the thing. Well, I mentioned the parents. A lot of it's fact. It's documented that he's paid off. Some of these parents or whatnot. So, I think we asked. I asked where were the parents. I think a lot of times people will sell their soul for $1.
Dude, come on now. I mean, it's hard. I mean, I don't get it. I mean, like there's different story, different folks.
Yeah.
I don't get that. Though.
Yeah, I don't get it either. You will sell your child basically, for $1 or $2, as they say in New Orleans, a paper dollar. It's called a paper dollar. But yeah, that's crazy. So,
but that kind of leads me to just you know what? Someone I heard this. Someone said R. Kelly doesn't have an education, right? Because we've heard him speak and stuff like that. And they said, well, the reason why he enjoys being around people that's younger, because mentally
he's on that level.
He's on that level.
Yeah.
Because you have to think if you're married to a 30, 40-year-old woman, because he's 52,
right?
Then after a while, all that that fame, fortune, all that kind of stuff kind of dies down, and you have to have something to stimulate someone mentally,
Right, for sure.
emotionally, some kind of way. So I'm thinking, so if you can't even hold a conversation with me or a female, I'm like, so like, what are you offering people?
Right. True.
Other than, you know what I'm saying?
Other than your fame.
Yeah, your urine in the throat, you know what I'm saying, in the face or whatever. But
peeing on people.
yeah, you know what I'm saying. So I'm like, wow, I get that one. I get that one.
I get mad at myself when a little drip falls on me, from my own. Like, oh,
That's TMI, Mike.
on my
TMI.
shoe. Like, hold on.
Not the J's. You ain't got to
Yeah,
do the
not-
J's. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. But so in the docuseries, they did talk about, some physical abuse where he would slap them if they, did something wrong and said something wrong or, whatever. And that was his way of kind of controlling them, first mentally and then, he put his hands on them, allegedly, right? And
No, because one of them had some fingerprints on her face.
Just-
So I think
yeah.
just fresh to got slapped.
fresh slap.
Fresh. she got that Black Dynamite slap. You know what I'm saying? Nah, I'm just okay. I'm sorry. I digress. That was wrong. My bad.
But to me, in my mind, there's either one or two reactions in my mind. Somebody just slapped me, right? Like I'm gonna be ready to fight, or I'm gonna be ready to run away.
Okay, Mike, check this out. Exactly right. Which here's a question that I've asked for years and years, and I have no one to explain it in a way that I can figure it out, that I understand. Why is it why do you think women stay in a situation like this? I'm thinking, dude, if someone hit me, I'm out. I don't care what you've given me, I'm out. If someone is being abusive to my child or whatever, I'm out. So, like, to me, from a male who's never experienced it myself, now I grew up in a household. My mom got beat up like clockwork every Saturday by my dad. On Sunday, coming home from church, but I always wondered like why are you staying in this? I mean, honestly, like why?
Yeah, I never truly understood that either. I think there's probably a deeper mental, something going on mentally there that kind of keeps that person. And maybe we need some women to kind of explain this to us or maybe to speak on it. But again, I feel like you as a man, somebody put their hands on me, I'm not about to stand there. I mean, if I am staying there, we going to be fighting.
Right,
But, otherwise I'm out of there. But, we mentioned men though, they're actually, men get abused too, physically abused.
Bless their hearts.
Bless their hearts. Yeah, I think there's a stat somewhere, and I don't know what it is. Actually, I got some stats, and maybe this may be a good point to kind of touch on some of these stats if you think appropriate. But we can touch on some stats. So here's a couple that I'll just read. It says more than 1 in 3 women and more than 1 in 4 men in the U.S. report having experienced rape, physical violence, and or stalking by an intimate partner in their lifetime. So I don't know if you want to talk about
You said 1 in 3?
1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men.
Dang.
Right? Rape or physical violence in their lifetime. So that's what, a third of women and a quarter of men.
Dude, that's like me and you putting up all people that we know, which we know well over 20, 30 people, and say, man, just think, if you hadn't had this already, somebody in this group are gonna get raped. Somebody in this group
Right.
gonna get men and women.
Men and women.
Dude, that's crazy. That is crazy. But it just makes me think like this right here though. Well, first I'm gonna say this. It's surprising that the male stat is so high because that's something that I don't think a man would ever own up to.
Yeah, and
You know
that's
I'm
what I
saying?
was thinking. Yeah, most men wouldn't just report, she's
Right.
beating me,
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, or whatever, right?
But nowadays people are all about their rights and this and that. So
Well, you know what? I think about that now. I think men have been kind of forced to report more nowadays because think about this. Anytime there's a domestic violence situation in a house, the police is called.
right.
Most times, who they taking to jail?
The man.
And it could be the woman that instigated
Right,
the whole
right,
thing, scratched them all up or whatever.
But you don't want your girl to go to jail though. So,
Right. I agree.
Right.
But I don't know. You see some of them, they'll instigate it just because they know they got the finger on the one, right?
Right,
They got
right.
9 and the 1 already down.
Boy,
They got the
boy.
other finger hovering
And mouth steady moving.
and talking,
Mouth
right?
steady moving.
Trying to instigate
Uh-huh,
something,
uh-huh,
and so trying to jam you up. So which is horrible, but
Hey, Mike, but before we go to those stats, can we just get a phone call from a listener just so we can get someone to explain to me why women stay in
women's
that
standpoint?
Right, if you don't mind.
yeah,
doing
let's
that.
do that.
Okay.
All right, so we got a caller on the line. We got Lisa, who's gonna touch on. We're talking about domestic violence, physical abuse, and we had the question: why do women stay in those type of relationships when they're getting physically abused? And so we would like to allow Lisa to give her feedback on that, or just her thoughts on why women do that. Hey, Lisa, how you doing?
Fine, thank you. How are you guys doing?
We're good.
Blessed.
So, Lisa, why do you think women tend to stay in those type situations?
Wow. I've witnessed abuse in my childhood, most of my childhood actually, and watching my mom, I really think it was self-esteem, and usually these men, they build them up like while they're courting them or dating them and tell them how beautiful they are and how smart they are and this and that, and then once they feel like they've got them or they're in relationships or they're married or whatever, then that's when the other side comes out. And I start to see her, somebody who was always walked around with her head up, took care of herself, very smart, going to school, raising kids, just start to kind of shrink and diminish whenever he would come around. And it just really stuck with me as a kid, to see that, how she went from one person to a totally different person. And nothing changed other than his words. She still went to school. She still finished school, but it took a much longer time because he did everything he could to just beat her spirit down.
So it was more of a mental thing. It was a mental build up, and then
Right.
it began with the mental tear down, and then the
Exactly.
physical came after that, right?
Right. So, you have, when you're constantly told, oh, well, who wants you now? You have 2 kids. Where you going to go? What you going to do? You going to school, So I know, and some friends who dealt with it, it's like you feel trapped. Like, well, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know, where I could stay. Some people don't have family support, so what do you do?
Yeah.
But that kind of leads me to this question right here, though, and I totally understand people don't believe what I believe and see things the way I see them. But if the person walk with their heads high, so that's to me, that tells me that someone raised them to have self-value. Right?
Correct.
And so if I have that self-value, and it's not because anyone gave me this, it's because who my parents raised me to be, to understand who I am, whether it be in Christ or whatever it is. But this is me. So if I meet someone who totally contradicts what I've always been taught, to me, that's like a red flag. I don't know, but to me, it's like I have a strong male presence in my life for me to be here.
Right.
So if I understand that this is not what I'm used to seeing, then why would I stay there and continue to get something that I know is detrimental to me?
Love.
That's what I was going to say.
Because we are still not, as a black society, we are still not sitting our children down and explaining to them the difference between sex and love. And you can have strong parents in the household, but then mama sit you down and tell you, hey, this is this and this is this. If you say no and somebody forces you, that's wrong. Or, nobody should touch you here. Or if, you should feel comfortable in everything that is going on within that relationship.
Yeah,
but we're still not sitting our children down, boys and girls, and telling them what is right, what is normal, and what is wrong. Even if it's abnormal to me, if you and Buki say that's okay with y'all, then and that's okay with y'all, but both of you should feel comfortable in that. And so when I'm receiving this, what I deem is love, you know, just different ways of different ways he's showing me that he loves me. You know, when I see, well, when he ain't doing this, he's a good person, or he really cares for me, or he looks after me, you know, that's why I'm staying, because he loves me.
Yeah.
That's what I believe, you know. He loves me. Because I asked my mom, you know, why? Why did you stay? And we witnessed this. It was 4 of us. I was the oldest. You know, we witnessed these things. And she was like, I loved him.
Yeah.
I loved him. The person he was when I met him and the person he became were 2 different people.
Right.
But I loved him. And I thought, you know, you get these older people who say, oh, it's a phase, or it'll change, or stay with them, or, you know, men gonna do this and men gonna do that. But we're still not having that healthy conversation with our children, and that's what's needed.
Right, I agree. Lisa, so seeing that growing up, how did that impact, you know, how you dealt with men and how you deal with men today? Did that impact you in any kind of way?
It definitely impacts kids, and when I witnessed it, I'm the first one to be a champion for the kids, because it sticks with you.
Right.
My first marriage, my ex-husband hit me one time, and this was over a video. We went to the video store, and I didn't like what he got, and so I, you know, went and sat in the car, and it was an ongoing argument, but this little thing just blew it up. And so I went and sat in the car, and when I opened the car door, it hit the fence. So it left a few scratches on the door. He came around, looked at it, and he got in the car, and he was just cussing and yelling at me. And I said, so what? You know, what difference does it make? And he clocked me a good one, you know, inside of my jaw. And all I could think of was everything my mom had gone through.
Right.
And that's a non-negotiable. You put your hands on me, I'm done.
That's
it only
it.
take
Right.
one time.
Right.
So you know, he's still going on ranting and raving and everything. And we get home, I shot out of that car. I ran upstairs, locked the door, greased myself up, got some skillets and a few other items and put them in strategic places. And so he's banging on the door. When he opened that door, when I opened it and let him in, it was on and popping.
Yeah.
It was on and popping, because I watched my mom take enough beatings for every female in my family. And I was like, absolutely not.
This ain't about to go down like
Absolutely
this. Well,
So yeah, it sticks with you, and kids should not witness that. They just shouldn't, because that was also when I got remarried. That was one thing I told my husband. You put your hands on me, I'm gone. You know, you got one time. You put your hands on me, I'm out of here. That's it.
Well, first, I'm gonna say this right. We don't condone any type of violence, either against someone or any other kind of way. But I do understand that you have to protect yourself.
Right.
2, whenever you're in doubt about a movie, pick Friday. 3, but 3, if they can, you mentioned somebody named Pookie or Mookie or whatever.
Yeah, I said Mookie.
Never listen to that guy. He'll never know what you're talking about. I know that guy too. He always wrong.
Pookie owe me some money.
Yeah, he owes us both some money. Matter of fact, we still looking for him. So I'm just gonna throw that out there like that too, though. But
But
we're
you have to understand, these guys know what women want to hear.
Right.
They know
Right.
what we want to hear. They know how to build somebody up and make them feel special. Like, you know, you're the only one for them, and they can't live without you. I mean, they are slick. They have the words, you know. They got the moves. They got the tricks, you know. So
Yeah.
I was young then. I'm older now, so when I see it, I'm like, I see a snake. And, you know, I educated my daughters and used my own personal life and my mother's. So they wouldn't go through the same. If you can learn from my mistakes, you're already ahead of the game.
Right.
So they can't, nobody bring no mess to them. You just can't.
All right. Well, hey, Lisa, we appreciate your feedback, and thanks for joining us on the Mentality 360 podcast. And we look forward to hearing from you in the future.
No doubt.
Appreciate
no
you.
doubt.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank
You guys take care.
You be blessed.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. So yeah, that was a very powerful testimony by Lisa.
No
Very
doubt.
good information.
No doubt.
So she delved into the mental buildup, that a guy does to a woman, and then he begins to mentally tear her down, and then after that, it just kind of leads into the physical abuse. So,
But Mike, okay, like I asked her earlier, but I just don't understand this though, Mike. Well, you know what? Maybe this boils down to because she made a point and she said, "I taught my kids, so this won't happen to them." Right?
Right.
So like that's what I was asking earlier. So like if you come from a household with a strong father, a strong mother, I just don't understand how you're not taught how to be that's a self. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But you heard what she said. She said love. And, love make you do some crazy things.
What you think love is.
You know what you think
right,
love is.
Right.
Make you tolerate some stuff. And,
I guess so.
although
Okay,
we
yeah,
can't
yeah,
we
I guess
can't
so.
see
I
it,
guess
as
so,
a
yeah.
man, I don't know if it's my ego or whatever. I just can't see nobody putting their hands on me and me just standing there taking that.
Well, but like you said earlier, when you gave the stats earlier, you got men that's getting with them things put on
Yeah.
them too, mentally, physically.
And clearly, she's a woman, and she said it only took that one time
Right.
for her husband to put his hands on her. So,
But I will say this too, though. I have dated people in the past when I wasn't sure who I was as a male, who I thought, I know you might think it's hard to believe, who I thought that was out of my league because, I know you see me, you know what I'm saying?
right.
No, but really, and so like, I would put up with things that I probably wouldn't put up with had I known who I was as a person. If that makes any sense,
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it does.
I mean, so like, I can see how people can be mentally abused that way.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to hold on to something who they feel like one of the best things. Like she said earlier.
If they self-esteem
Right,
all
right.
together, yeah.
Because she said earlier, she said, well, at least he don't do this.
Mm-hmm.
He might pay my bills, or he might make sure the house is taken care of, but yet he come home and beat me, or he come home and drink
Yeah.
and beat the kids, or speak to me in this tone or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, but I got a question for you. Someone told me one day, they said, the tone and the manner in which we speak can be considered abuse. You agree with me?
I've heard that.
I know you have.
I've heard that. I was told, the way I ask questions, sometimes it makes it seem like I'm attacking. So I get it. People feel like they're under attack or they're being verbally abused or something like that. But, I just try to be very direct, and I guess, maybe the tone of your voice, if you're yelling and screaming, then yeah, for sure, it comes across that way.
Because I'm constantly being told this. I won't say constantly, but I've often heard that the manner in which I speak, not that I'm yelling, not that I'm cussing, use profanity, but just the manner in which I speak. And I'm thinking, but I just want to make sure that you understand
Yeah.
that this bothers me, so we don't have to be here again.
Right.
And like, we don't have to continue to address the same thing that tells me that, well, maybe I didn't say it right the first time, or maybe this is what you understand when I have to speak at you this way.
Right.
Which might not be the correct way. Well, I know for a fact it's not the godly way, but it seems to be the only thing that I feel like you understand. And so, therefore, you view it as I'm verbally abusing you.
Yeah.
I'm viewing it as, well, I need to do something to try to get my point across.
Right.
Because what I've been doing is not
working.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
I get it. Yeah, but you heard what Lisa said. She said about the her mom's husband beginning to tear her down verbally, telling her, she wasn't worth this or worth that or whatever. So that's verbal abuse.
Oh, no
when
doubt.
you begin
No
to
doubt.
bring
No
somebody
doubt.
down like that. But I don't know. I guess the tone. I think a lot of times we think the louder we talk or the more aggressive we say something, that it's just gonna sink into that person. And a lot of times it don't. It just don't. So with most people, I can regulate my tone. I can be very monotone and get my point across. But for those that are closest to you, who
Right.
have who can touch your emotions, they can get you to go a little off tone,
Right.
if you know what I mean. So, like you, I'm always just trying to get my point across, because clearly what I said the last 10 times
Didn't
in
register.
different ways,
Right.
it didn't register, right? So I understand.
Okay. But again, not that it makes it right to come across and come at someone that way, but sometimes you just feel like you're you know what it is. Honestly, I'm sure if I were to ask Pastor Fred or Pastor Sanders, they would tell me this right here. They would say, "Well, because you're doing it your way and not Christ's way."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I really hate to do this now, but like when I hear people speak, Mike, it just makes me think that how can you be like this and know who Christ is?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, so I don't. So that's why I said earlier, maybe people don't believe the same thing I believe and whatnot, but I just believe that when you see someone that's hurting, because to me, for a male to do that, he has to be hurting.
Yeah.
His self-esteem has to be low.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, to me, if you're doing what you're supposed to do, God will reveal that to you, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said earlier, I've never been beat up before, I've never been abused physically or whatever, but I just think that God reveals that to you. When He reveals it to you, then those are areas that we have to pray about, and if need be, take ourselves out of that environment for a time period,
Right,
you know
for
what
a
I'm saying?
season, right?
Yes. So that's why I say, well, I really don't understand, because I get the physical, it's zero tolerance, and I get that. But at the end of the day, something happened long before He put His hands on you for you to see His character.
Excuse me. Yeah, there would have to be a process, I would
It has
think.
to be, yes,
Most
yes.
people just don't snap off, out of nowhere. I mean,
So, well,
It's still something.
yeah, you're right. But I can say this: picking the wrong movie it just doesn't, like, it's that big of a to make a man snap.
well,
like
she
that.
said she hit the car door, I guess, on the fence, and had some scratches on the car, so maybe that aggravated the situation more.
But
it's a material thing.
I'd
at the end of the
say
day.
that's the
But she
same
said
thing,
it was
really.
an ongoing argument,
Right,
so it seemed
right.
like there had been some prior stuff.
Right.
And all that stuff builds up, and then somebody explodes, right?
Yeah. Man, that's crazy though. It just crazy the value we put on things and not on people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because could you imagine some dude hitting your I mean, honestly, if you had a daughter, which we don't, but some man putting his hands on your daughter, because, like, to me, that puts everybody in a bad situation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Let alone if someone beat up my son, then I first thing I'm doing is buy him a gym membership. So I'm like, dude, come on, you didn't pump that up or something, because this don't make no sense.
Get him some karate lessons.
Something,
Defend
you know.
yourself, man. Block.
Bob and weave, do something. Yeah. No, but to me, it just puts everybody in a bad situation when you have something like that, you know. But I think it'd be good if you have people to speak to, because let's say you a woman and some man was turning you down, and you say, "Well, I love him." Well, I'm sure you got to have somebody in your life saying, "Babe, that ain't love."
So check this out. So hypothetically speaking, if your wife was whooping you every day, right, would you be able to come to me and talk to me about it?
Initially, no. Because initially I would be in such a shock that I can't believe she just did this.
Yeah.
And I can't believe that I can't defend myself. Well, honestly, I'm thinking as a male, what did I do to make my wife believe that this was okay for her to do this to me?
Yeah.
But knowing that I'm a man, knowing that it ain't nothing in the world you can do to keep me from whipping you.
Yeah.
Real talk.
Right.
So I'm thinking, like, what did I do to make you believe that this type of behavior was going to be okay? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, but to answer your question, no, I wouldn't say anything initially. But if it happened more than once, I'd be like, Mike, man, you wouldn't. I believe this woman just hit me he just hit me in my head. What'd you do? Nothing. But I wanted to. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But that's something, because I think if you look at the numbers of men that get abused, it's getting close.
Is it really?
Almost,
Is it
to
really?
where women are. So I think I touched on that stat. What was it? 1 in 4 men.
Yeah. You said 1 in 4.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
So the 4 out of 4 guys we know, right?
Wow,
so
so we
me,
got-
you, Kel, than Ty.
But
Somebody's getting hands put on.
You know what? Kev's shorter, so it's probably gonna be.
It's probably him.
You know what I'm saying? But you know what? Hold on. The crazy thing, it's probably gonna be somebody like Ty, who the alpha male. When everybody know he the alpha male, man, you get beat at home. Don't even try. You know what I'm saying? No, but I think that's why it probably is so hard for a guy to say something, other than the fact that when the police come, you need to say something.
Yeah.
But I just think that if I'm a woman, you got to have somebody you can go to talk to about this stuff, because like she said earlier, like older people know what love is and what love isn't, hopefully.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And even if they have a domestic abuse hotline, and we'll give that out. Actually, I'll give it out now, and then we'll give it out at the end. That National Domestic Violence Hotline is 1-800-799-7233, or you can visit their website. And I'll find the website here shortly. But yeah, so anybody out there, men or women, children, whoever, you're getting any type of abuse, you can call that hotline. Again, 1-800-799-7233. And if you just need to talk to someone and get some help.
But I just put this disclaimer on there, Mike. We're not saying call somebody because you disagree with them. Because like we have women calling the police on people because they're barbecuing in the park, and you know they falling asleep in the common area in dorms. We're not talking about call the police like that. We're saying call the police when it's legitimate things that you feel like, you know, that you're experiencing that you shouldn't be experiencing.
Yeah.
You know,
and first and foremost, you want to, if it's happening in the moment, you want to get out of that space. You know, just leave if you can, walk away, go to your friend's house, neighbor, you know, whoever, and then you call the police.
You know, I will say this though, Mike. Tell me what you think about this. Recently, we had our doorbell ring like at 12 o'clock at night. So first thing I'm thinking is, honestly, I'm thinking,
get the strap.
Well, that too, but I'm thinking it got to be the UK of somebody who I know.
Yeah.
Because nobody else be ringing my doorbell this time of night. Because Drake was here, so I knew it wasn't, you know, about Drake. But it was a next door neighbor. She came over our house, half naked. She had her bra and panties on.
Oh wow!
And so of course, I come to the door. I'm like, my wife here. I mean, wait. You know? Oh yeah, wrong one. But anyway, no, I'm just kidding. I can't even joke like that because somebody might take me seriously.
Yeah.
But the next door neighbor came, and so I immediately got my wife because I'm like, no, I'll listen or I'll be here. But she needs to, first of all, she needs to come in the house.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to stand outside and have anybody be shot because somebody is a knucklehead and they didn't put their hands on you.
Right, that's true.
And so I told my wife, I said, well, either let her come in and call the police, or we didn't let her go wherever she's going to go, because she's like, well, I don't want to call. I'm like, well, so what do you want us to do? Like, right. you over at my house, I don't really know you, and it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning. And so she ended up calling the police. My wife called the police. And she said, well, I just want to stand right here. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, because what was her plan? Like,
right, exactly. And so I said, either come in the house or go back to your house. But we're not going to be standing out here with you because bullets don't have,
no.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, they just go where they go. And they hit whatever they hit. So I'm thinking, no, babe. Because my wife didn't understand. I'm like, no, babe. Because I'm thinking about your safety. Not hers. Now, her safety was me opening the door, me calling the police for you, me trying to help you do whatever. Right. But other than that, I just step out and let you do what you're gonna do. But you can't involve us in that, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So the thing is, when you go to people, you got to have a plan. Hey, I'm gonna go to do this. Because you can't go over somebody's house and be, oh, I don't want to do this.
She said she just wanted to stand there.
Well, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because she didn't really say something. Man, something got to happen.
Yeah, right.
You know, because now you involved other people. So I say, babe, call the police. And the lady, she didn't really want to call the police. So I'm like, well, you came in my house.
Did y'all determine what happened? Was he drunk or was he?
Well, I think he had been drinking and he put his hands on it one too many times. Yeah. And so she came over and said he put his hands on me because you could tell she had been in a scuffle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. And actually he ran through her driveway, garage door.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. So I just had to say, you know, when you involve other people, I'm not saying you have to go down and write down a plan, but you got to know that your safety is the thing that everyone's looking at, especially nowadays. So.
So everybody's watching. Yes. There's videos and cameras and
Yes.
all that
so,
everywhere.
So I'm calling the police, and so, because I want to make sure the scene continues to be safe after that point.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So what about that? That's a good question. Well, I'm gonna ask this question. So if you see something like that, let's say it's same woman and man, right, that came to your door. If you saw them out in the street, him beating her on her, what would you do? Would you go intervene, or would you just call the police?
No, I just call the police.
You just call the police, right?
You're right.
Yeah.
Because like I said, dude, I am not gonna put my And
That's the smart thing to do. Just call the police.
I just about to say, and I would tell my sons this. I would tell my friends this, dude. I would never get involved in a domestic dispute because too many times it's always a person that's trying to help.
Yeah.
They get shot or gets hurt. You know what I'm saying?
Very true.
What about yourself? What you do?
Oh, I'm doing the same thing. I'm calling the police.
Okay, here's a question for you. Real talk. What if she's like extremely gorgeous?
I don't think that matters, man.
Really? Seriously, real talk.
Yeah.
It don't matter?
Nah.
I'm going to keep on stirring
Nah,
at you.
it don't matter.
Good. Because it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter.
I'm calling the man.
I'm saying, what? I'm about to put somebody on paper. But
Hey, let's touch on a couple more of these stats. I was just looking through these and check this one out. How about this? Nearly 20 people per minute are physically abused by an intimate partner in the United States. What do you think about that?
20 people
So
per
during 1 year, this adds up to more than 10 million women and men.
You said every 20 seconds someone is being physically
20 people per minute.
is being physically abused
Yep.
by a partner.
By an intimate partner.
Physically. So physically means that I'm hitting you, I'm slapping you, I'm whatever,
Putting
right?
hands on
Right.
you or something.
Dude, man, to me, wait. I'll say this right here. To me, that number is crazy.
That's a staggering number.
That's a crazy number. But when I look at how people behave, Mike, when I see the adult people behaving like they have no self-control and they say what they want to say, they do what they want to do, and all these things, then that number really don't surprise me. If I look at the big picture, because I'm thinking, well, these are the same people that's governing their household. These same people that's rearing their kids to
Right,
be
and there's
just
normally
like them.
children around,
Yes.
looking at that example. Right.
Like she said earlier, she said it's really hard on kids. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm
Right.
thinking because like now you have kids that's constantly thinking I have no way to express the way I feel, my emotions, but through anger.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because ain't nobody walking around saying, "Man, let's talk about it. I love you, cry." No, ain't nobody doing that. Everybody's thinking about what drastic can I do to impact your life like you just impacted my life.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And a lot of times that's physically.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Wow, man.
That's what I think anyway. I just one man's opinion. So
This is pretty interesting right here. How about this one? Women with disabilities have a 40% greater risk of intimate partner violence, especially severe violence, than women without disabilities.
I don't get
I wonder
that.
why. Yeah, I don't get that either. Found that pretty interesting.
Because the word disability sounds too broad of a word to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because a disability to me could be like you might have a hearing loss. You might have, I don't know what.
Yeah.
I don't know, disability. It could be anything.
Yeah.
You have a back problem, have disability. Your boyfriend's supposed to put his hands on you, your husband. But I would say this to her, Mike. She said something earlier. Lisa said something earlier. She said that our parents don't teach us, sit down and have the conversation with us, right? Mm-hmm. So, what conversation do you have with your kids to teach them right from wrong? Because if it's a mental thing, because she said that old boy pretty much winding down her and just took her mentally on a trip somewhere.
Right.
And so what could I say as a father, or what could you say as a father, or someone else say as a father, that could help their daughter in a situation like that? What do you think?
Yeah, see, I don't know, that's kind of difficult because I think in those situations, the person just don't see that coming. They don't experience that person. They experience this great person who's mentally stimulated them and took them to this place and built them up and, called them gorgeous and, really implanted that esteem in them, right? Mm-hmm. And then, I think it's a gradual process. Maybe you start to see certain things, certain little signs. He'll start to say certain things, and I guess
call you fat or call you.
Yeah, I think if anything, you just have to be mindful of those flags.
For the breakdowns.
Yeah, right. So I don't know. You just have to always pay attention, I guess, and just be mindful. I don't.
Okay. So what you're saying is you would tell your son or your daughter, you have to just be mindful the way people speak to you, because sometimes people get upset and people say stuff like that. So again, what do you say? Because I have no idea what I would tell my sons.
Yeah.
Any of them. Because I have a son right now who's going through domestic violence. His girlfriend. Here's the case.
Okay.
Okay. Now he's been in trouble with the law.
Okay.
And so now he's on paper.
Mm-hmm.
He's on paper. But anyway,
Right.
and so
And I can already guess what she's doing.
thank you.
Yeah.
And so therefore, every time she asks if I'm gonna call the police.
Yep.
Call the police.
Yep.
And the thing is, he feels like he's in a position where he has to take this.
Has to take certain.
You know what I'm saying?
Things,
Now, true enough, we teach him, dude, when you get married, you stay married for life.
Mm-hmm.
You pray your way and you work your way through whatever you need to work through. I truly believe that, whether it be physical abuse, mental abuse, I believe that. Because I believe that God is stronger than us, and He can change. He can change the hearts more than we can try to change hearts. But in his situation, dude, she's crazy. She just stabbed him with a knife. She's scratched him all up in his face. Because to me, coming up, if we were fighting and you hit me in my chest or whatever, we were just fighting.
Yeah.
But the first time you took a swing at my face, oh, it's serious now.
Yeah.
I mean, real talk.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking to myself, every time we see him, he has scratches above the shoulders.
Best thing for him, he got to keep the cameras rolling or something, something.
Okay, but again, they have kids together. So now it's like, well, I don't want the mother of my kids to go to jail, but I'm thinking something has to give.
Yeah.
So,
for sure.
so in that situation, what would you say?
I mean, I don't think that's beneficial for the kids to see it. So, I know that's the mother of his children, but that cycle is just going to continue if nothing takes place, if nothing happens.
Okay, so what do you say?
Like I said, he has to keep that camera rolling, and may have to call the police on her, get her locked up.
Yeah, now here's the thing. Now you call the police on her. Now watch this though. Here's the big picture of this. You call the police on her, and she gets out of jail or whatever. Every time you go to jail, it's paper costs. It's cost behind that, and so he's the only one working in the household. So so now basically
it's coming out of his pocket.
So now I'm gonna call the police on you, so I can pay for your fine.
Yeah. Well, let her lay down. Let her do it 30, 60 days or whatever.
Right.
That's hard, ain't it?
I mean, it sounds hard, you know what I'm saying? But like you said, something has to change. Something got to give.
Something has to.
Because this little girl off the chain, dude. I mean, I tell you, I say, babe, I hate that he married her. I hate that he married her because there's no way in the world he should be in a situation like this right here.
I'm going to ask this question. I already know the answer. Does she have Christ in her life?
Come on now. Of course not.
Right.
Of course not. Of course not. Of course not. Of course not. And it's almost like they're running from that. You know what I'm saying? Because, because I truly believe the only reason why he hadn't put his hands on her, besides the jail thing, is because he knows who Christ is. You know what I'm saying? But no, she doesn't. But Mike, I don't know. I just think I don't know. I just think that I can totally understand why, as a male, you should lead your family spiritually. I totally see that now. I totally get just from this conversation alone. You know what I'm saying? Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
No, but okay, but just real quick. This is what I mean by that, because I didn't want to steal all the time. But so many times in life, we try to do things. We either try to do things physically, spiritually, or emotionally. Like we're led by those three things. And so many times that a man thinks that since a woman is giving him sex, then physically he's being taken care of. A woman thinks that when a man is calling her all the time, trying to hook up with her, emotionally, she's getting what she needs.
Right.
So it's like we're constantly feeding these those things,
but
the spiritual thing is being left behind. So it's like that's why you have situations where people say, "Well, I love them." Well, how can you love somebody if you don't even understand the love God has for you?
Yeah.
That's why I say it has to be somebody wiser in your life to be able to help you, because if not, you're just going to keep on doing a circle, whether it be physical abuse, whether it be emotional abuse, some kind of way. It's going to be a cycle, because that's what we do, because we try to fill the void that Christ put in us, but everything else but Christ.
Right. Yeah, that has to be the center, and if you build everything off that center,
yes,
right?
Yes.
That's how it should work. Fortunately, it doesn't.
Right. That's why you had those numbers that you've been saying
Right.
all day, because it don't work like that.
And here's the last stat we're gonna give you today. Here's one: men who are victimized are substantially less likely than women to report their situation to the police.
Why do you think
But
that
I
is?
think we know that.
Why do you think that is?
I think that we've been conditioned, a couple of reasons. I think one, we've been kind of conditioned as men to just kind of take that, we always, been taught not to put our hands on women, right? Not to, really retaliate like that. So we'll allow a woman to, hit us, whatever. We'll take that and just deal with it, right? And I think the other reason is, when men are really abused, that it's more of a pride and probably ego thing. That, how can I, because remember I asked you earlier if, hypothetically, if your wife was whooping you every day, could you talk to me about it?
Right.
It's like, I think it's like a pride and ego thing. Like, I can't, let my friends, these guys or whoever know my woman is abusing me every day. How's that going to look, me as a man, to say, this woman is dominating me and abusing me.
Well, okay, Mike, let me cut you. I got a question for you, just for that standpoint alone. Then why do you have close friends then? Because I'm thinking to myself,
right?
That's why you have those friends.
You should
though,
be
right?
able to talk to those friends, those people that are closest to you about anything.
Because believe me, I feel like you and I, or me, Ty, or Mike, whatever, or Kev, we've discussed things that I wouldn't discuss with anybody else, because I don't care how you view me, because I know that we're friends. You know what I'm saying? And so therefore, that atmosphere of vulnerability is always there. Because I'm like, it's okay for me. It's a safe zone.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. It should be.
Yeah, so I'm thinking if you have close friends, you have a safe zone, you should be able to discuss whatever you want to discuss with them.
Yeah. But why don't you think men report physical abuse?
I'm going to tell you one thing, and you might think I'm joking, but I'm dead serious. Just when you hear words like, what'd you say? You said most men are violated, right? Mm-hmm. You don't want to be associated with that word.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly.
Again, it's your ego or whatever. Those type of words are associated with weakness.
Yes,
or, you don't want to be viewed in that light, right?
Right, because I don't think I'm very prideful about much anything at all. I just feel like I don't want to be associated with that word.
Yeah.
Now I don't know. I mean, because maybe I see that word as being, when people go to jail, they become victimized.
Right,
and
they're
so
victimized.
You think, I'm like, oh, that he took his lack of manhood, his manhood away.
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't want anybody to view me as anyone, no matter what type of situation I'm in, to have taken my manhood away from me.
To be viewed as less of a man.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's what I think.
Yeah. Wow. I think the tables are kind of turning, though. I think a lot more men are beginning to report, in those domestic type situations. When the police are called to the house, it's women going to jail now.
Yeah.
Because,
but Mike, is that a good thing though? I mean, truthfully, is that a good thing? Because that table turns so much nowadays, man. You have men act like women, women act like men. Is that really a good thing?
So again, back to the beginning of the question. That's why yours and my mindset are probably about the same, and it's like, I don't want to send my woman to jail, get her arrested. I'm just gonna take this or whatever. It's just,
some chick ain't better be in there waiting on.
Yeah.
I knew you was coming.
Right. Mm-hmm. And so, but I don't know. I guess I can see both sides of it. I mean, if she's truly the instigator of this fight or this abuse, then something has to change.
Right.
Like you were saying with your son. Something has to give. Like, otherwise, it just ain't gonna stop.
Right.
And then that woman is gonna begin to look at you like, oh, he's a punk. I can slap him. I can do whatever I want to him. He ain't gonna do nothing. Or they may be holding that potential third strike over your head, like you touch me, you going to jail. Or whatever. So and then they begin to treat you all kinds of ways, and it's just a whole.
It's funny, Mike, but I tell Jane this all the time. I say, sometimes I hate that I know what I know. And what I mean by that is this right here, is that I totally don't believe and anything that goes against the word of God. Now, whether I fall and do something and I sin or whatever, but I totally believe today that you should not divorce your spouse.
Yeah.
And in a lot of ways, I hate that I know that truth, because when I see situations, I'm like, man, get out of the marriage. Because, dude, I wouldn't stay in that marriage. You're the only person working, and she treats you like this, like she has a leg to stand on.
Right.
But the thing is, I know that goes against God's word, and I know that God is bigger than that. So I know God can change that. You know what I'm saying? But it's just that I have no idea what the process looks like to get somebody out of that abusive situation into what God wants them to be.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it. So I think we've spent, pretty significant amount of time on this. We could probably go on for another hour or two, but we're just going to wrap it up. And I'll say this, man, woman, or whoever, nobody should be touching anybody, putting their hands on anybody, abusing anybody, whether it's mentally, physically, or any of that. Let's just try to, lead with love and lead with God, right?
No doubt.
And, all that other stuff will work itself out. We wouldn't have nearly as many of these situations if people just focused on those things, God and love, right? And that's my view of it. And again, I'll give y'all this 800 number to call. It's the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233. If you're going through any of those situations, please reach out for help and try to get yourself out of that situation. And with that, I'll let Kevin do his magic. And
okay. I'm going to ride with that. But
you're going to ride with that?
But let me just say one thing, though, just add on to what you just said, because I totally agree with what you just said. But I think also that sometimes people don't know who Christ is. But that's why I think that Christ puts people in your life to help you and to guide you to where Christ wants us to be. I don't believe, like Mike said earlier, I don't believe that Christ wants us to be anybody's doormat, punching bags, or anything of that nature. But I do know for a fact, like we spoke about earlier, Christ says remove yourself for a season if you're married. So if you are married, like Mike just gave out the numbers to the different hotlines and things like that, remove yourself out of the situation, seek Christ, because the only person that can change anybody's heart is Him, not your friends, not your pastor, but Christ. And with that being said, just put Christ first. Everything you do, everything will be all right. All right, that's it, Mike. Peace.
Peace.